Hello guys! Welcome to Minna No Nihongo lesson 22. In this video, we'll be covering the grammar, vocabulary, the English translation for Reibun and Bunke, and we will also be bringing you reference words for clothes. Lesson 22 covers one of the most confusedly misunderstood grammar structure. Make sure you watch till the end of the video. Let's get started. Well, the grammar for this lesson starts with understanding what is noun modification. We have already come across noun modification at the very beginning of Minna No Nihongo in lesson number 2 and lesson number 8. In those lessons, we learned that if we want to explain my house, I will say watashi no uchi. That is actually a noun modification, right? But for this lesson, lesson 22, we're gonna learn a more advanced level of noun modification, right? And continue on, we're gonna combine this noun modified sentence with other grammar structure that we have learned from other lessons, right? And the third part that we're gonna learn for our grammar is how to use the modifying clause ga. Ga can also become a noun modifying clause, alright? And then continue on, we're gonna explain when we are explaining about time, jikan, or appointment, yakusoku, or a task, yoji, the verb have to be converted into a dictionary form, right? We look at some example of this sentence. Continue on, we're gonna use the verb mashoka once again, alright? The first time that we learned about mashoka, it was in lesson number 14. Later on, you will find out that mashoka have two usage, alright? It serves two kinds of purpose. We're gonna learn one of the purpose in this lesson, right? Continue on, we'll do a English translation for the Reibun and Kaiwa that is found on page 180 and 181. For this lesson, we're gonna learn 31 new words, vocabulary, and we will closing with some reference words for clothes. New reference words for clothes, right? Let's begin. What is noun modification? Well, we have already learned noun modification right at the very beginning of Minna No Nihongo, right? Noun modification actually helps to describe the noun. For example, the noun is a person. We can describe this person using another noun, alright? When you use another noun to describe the person, you add a no. You add a clause in between them, no. And then if you want to describe the person using adjective na, you will add a na. So adjective na and then na, noun. Okay. When you want to describe the person using adjective I, you don't have to add any clause. Right? So adjective I and then noun. Okay, no clause. For some exceptions like nationality, color, or something that is well known, you don't have to add any clause in between. You can just a blue dress, just blue and then dress, right? Let's see some examples here, alright? For noun modification, the noun modification, the modifying word or clause always comes before the noun, right? Notice that this always comes before the noun. Na always comes before the noun. Alright, for example, a true story, this is a noun. True is noun and the story is noun, so you have to add a no in between, so it become honto no hanashi, right? Shiny shoes is pika pika no kutsu. A sick person, byoki no hito, right? Notice here is a noun, no, noun. Okay, for adjective na, a healthy child, kenko na kodomo. right? Kenko is adjective na. You simply add a na here, and then kodomo. An unreasonable story, mucha na hanashi. A serious problem, shinkoku na mondai. For adjective I, atarashi ie. A shy person, hajukashi hito. A strong person, tsuyoi hito. Okay, so this is how a noun is modified using another noun, using adjective na and using adjective I. Okay, for some exceptions, right? Nationality, America hito. Alright, we don't add any clause in between. Okay, for color, like aoi fuku, we don't add any clause in between, even though it ends with I. Alright, international airport, like kokusai kuko, something that is well known, normally there's no clause in between. Alright, I hope by going through these examples, now you're comfortable with what is noun modification. Right, we will proceed on to the more advanced level in this lesson 22. Okay, over here we will describe Michael Miller using noun modification. For example, Michael is an American. Maiku wa America hito desu. Michael is a 25-year-old person. Maiku wa 25歳の人です. Michael is a kind and handsome person. Maiku wa shinsetsu de handsome na hito desu. Michael is IMC's employee. Maiku wa IMC no shain desu. Michael is an interesting person. Maiku wa omoshiroi hito desu. Right? Notice for the first sentence, Michael is an American. This is an exception, a nationality, so we don't add any clause. Second sentence, Michael is a 25-year-old person. This is a noun, so we add a no in between. Alright. For the third sentence, this is the adjective na. The first adjective na, we add a de. The second adjective na, we add a na. Alright. Michael is IMC's employee. This is a noun, so noun, no noun. Michael is an interesting person. This is an adjective I. We don't add any clause. Omoshiroi hito desu. Right? So this is an example how you can use noun modification to describe a person. Well, over here we'll describe further about Michael Miller. We'll be using a noun modifier which is a verb. Right? For example, Michael is a person who goes to Tokyo. Maiku wa Tokyo e iku hito desu. Michael is a person who doesn't go to Osaka. Maiku wa Osaka e ikanai hito desu. Michael is a person who went to Tokyo. Maiku wa Tokyo e itta hito desu. Michael is a person who did not go to Osaka. Maiku wa Osaka e ikanakatta hito desu. Right? Notice that the noun this time is followed by a verb at the beginning, at the front. Alright, so the verb here, we simply convert it to the tense that it belongs to. So over here is a present tense, so iku hito. The second one, this is a negative present tense, so ikanai hito. Itta hito, this is a positive word, but it comes in a past tense, so itta hito. Instead of ikimasen, instead of ikimashita, is using itta. So this is a futsuke verb, the casual form of the verb. So we use, instead of ikimashita, we use itta hito. Ikanakatta hito. Once again, this is using futsuke verb. Instead of ikimasen, or instead of ikimasen deshita, we are using ikanakatta hito. Right? So when the noun modifier is a verb, we simply convert the verb into the tense that it belongs to, and then we just follow it by the noun. Okay. Well, in this slide, we will be introduced to a more advanced level of noun modification. For example, the first example, Michael is a person who works at IMC. マイクは IMC で働いている人です。Michael lives in Tokyo. マイクは東京に住んでいます。Michael's boss is the person next to him. マイクの上司は彼の隣の人です。Michael is the person wearing blue shirt. マイクは青いシャツを着ている人です。Right? This is a slightly more advanced level than what we learned before. The first sentence, Michael is a person who works at IMC. For something that involves working or studying, you have to convert the sentence into a permanent form. Alright? To convert it into a permanent form, you have to use the te form of the verb. So, hatarakimasu become hataraite. And then before we combine it with a noun, we have to add a imasu. Alright, so iru hito. So hataraite iru hito. Okay, this is how you can describe a person doing something that is permanent. So it becomes hataraite iru hito. Okay, this is considered noun modification here. Okay, the noun hito has been modified to become hataraite iru hito. Okay, next, Michael lives in Tokyo. Living in Tokyo is also something permanent, so we have to convert it into a te form. Sumimasu becomes sunde. We add a imasu, sunde imasu. Okay, notice in this second sentence there's no noun modification. Alright, there's no noun after the imasu. Okay, so there's no noun modification in this second sentence. Right? For the third sentence, we want to explain to the public that the person next to Michael is his boss. Right? So Michael's boss is the person next to him. Michael no joshi wa kare no tonari no hito desu. Alright? This is also noun that is already modified. Okay? Hito is the noun, and tonari is another noun, and kare is also another noun. So we add a no in between this noun. Right? Michael is the person wearing a blue shirt. Michael wa aoi shatsu o kite iru hito desu. Okay? Wearing is also a permanent form, so ki must become kite imasu, kite iru hito. Right? So there's a noun modification here. Okay. Aoi satsu. This is also a noun modification. Notice this is color. Color, we don't add anything in between, so just simply aoi satsu. Okay. So here you can see that this is some of the very most commonly used noun modification in our everyday life when you are describing a person who is working or studying or living there, right, or wearing something. You always use the te form plus imasu, right? Well, in this slide we'll look at an example from the book. If you turn to page 183, you'll find this image of 5 different persons in this picture. Actually 6 persons, alright, but we're gonna describe only 5 of them. Okay, let's begin with Michael. Which one is Michael? Alright, we're gonna use some noun modification to describe Michael. Michael wa do no hito desu ka? Michael is the person having a phone call. Right? Michael wa denwa o kakete iru hito desu. Right? Notice over here there is a noun modification. Hito is the person. Kakete iru. Alright? Making a phone call is also permanent, so he's doing it at that moment. He's currently doing it, so we're using te imasu. Okay. Which one is department head Matsumoto? Matsumoto buchou wa do no hito desu ka? Department head Matsumoto is the person reading newspaper. Alright, notice this is he's doing it, reading, so we use te imasu. So Matsumoto buchou wa shinbun o yonde iru hito desu. Which one is Mr. Yamada? Yamada-san wa do no hito desu ka? Yamada is this guy here. Yamada is the person drinking coffee. Okay, Yamada-san wa kohi o nonde iru hito desu. Alright, over here there's some noun modification as well. Nonde iru hito desu. So this is actually a verb that is converted into a te form plus iru hito desu. Which one is Miss Sato? Sato-san wa do no hito desu ka? Miss Sato is the person using the computer. Sato-san wa computer o tsukatte iru hito desu. Which one is Mr. Tanaka? Tanaka-san wa do no hito desu ka? Mr. Tanaka is the person using the copy machine. Okay, so Tanaka-san wa kopi ki o tsukatte iru hito desu. Right, so this is a very good example where we use noun modification in a sentence. Right, for this second grammar part of lesson 22, we'll combine the modified noun that we learned before with grammar structures from other lessons. For example, here we want to describe this house. This house has a cat in it. The condition of this house belongs to someone who lives in it. Right, we'll use some examples of modified noun combined with other grammar structures. Right, let's have a look. This is the house where Michael used to live. これはマイクが住んでいた家です。Right? Once again, this is a modified noun. 住んでいた家です。The house where Michael used to live is old. Okay? マイクが住んでいた家は古いです。Okay? Notice there's a wa here. Adjectives comes after the wa. Right? I bought the house where Michael used to live. マイクが住んでいた家を買いました。Okay? I like the house Michael used to live. So once again, can add a ga つきます。私はマイクが住んでいた家が好きます。So normally 私は is not shown. You can actually eliminate this because it's already self-understood. If there's no watashi wa, it means there is watashi wa. So I like the house where Michael used to live. マイクが住んでいた家に猫がいました。There was a cat in the house where Michael used to live, right? So the cat is there in the past tense, so いました。We use ni to combine these two words, right? マイクが住んでいた家へ行ったことがあります。I've been to the house Michael used to live, right? Once again, ことがあります。This is what we learn in other lessons, right? So here are all the 6 examples where we combine modified noun with the grammar structures we learned from other lessons. Okay, if you turn to page 183, question number 3, this is another good example we can use to combine modified noun with wa. For example, the coffee shop Michael used to go to, the coffee is good. マイクがよく行く喫茶店はコーヒーが美味しいです。Right? Notice here, the noun is kisaten. This kisaten is frequently visited by Michael. So yoku iku kisaten. So this kisaten here has been modified by including a verb at the front. Okay. Then we want to further describe this kisaten by adding a wa. So kisaten wa kohi ga oishii desu. Right? We are also telling people that this restaurant serve good coffee. So we add a wa here. Right? The next sentence, the hospital that one works at is at Kobe. So one-san ga hataraite iru byouin wa Kobe ni arimasu. Right? The supermarket I used to shop at, the vegetables is cheap. Watashi ga itsumo kaimono suru super wa yasai ga yasui desu. Okay, once again we use wa. Wa can actually describe this super, and this super is modified first. So kaimono suru super, this is a verb, right? Something that we always do, we use a present tense. It's sumo. Okay, the apartment my brother lives in do not have a bathtub. Ototo ga sundeiru apato wa ofuro ga arimasen. Okay, once again modified noun, and then we add a wa, and then we add another description. The temple I went to yesterday was clean and quiet. Kino watashi ga itta otera wa kirei de shizuka deshita. Right? Notice here, this is past tense because I went to the temple yesterday. So we convert this otera and modified this otera. Okay, itta otera, and then we add a wa to describe this temple. And this is kirei is a adjective na, so we add a de. There's two adjective na here, so kirei de shizuka deshita. Right? Modified noun can also be used in a question to ask who, what, how, where. This question can be found on page 184, question number 4. Who is the person wearing a black suit? Kuroi sutsu o kiteiru hito wa dare desu ka? Who are the people not going to holiday? Ryuko ni ikanai hito wa dare desu ka? How many people coming to the party? Party ni kuru hito wa nannin desu ka? Where did you meet your husband for the first time? Hajimete go suji ni atta Tokoro wa doko desu ka? How was the hotel you stayed at Kyoto? Kyoto de tomatta hotel wa dou deshita ka? Right? Please pay attention that if you want to ask a question about who, then you have to use itte iru hito. Okay, the noun is hito and then dare. If you want to ask who are the people, then the people here is always hito wa dare. Okay, if you want to ask how many people, it's also hito wa nannin. If you want to ask where, then you have to put a Tokoro. Tokoro wa doko. Okay, if you want to ask how was the hotel, then the hotel is the noun here. Hoteru wa dou deshita ka? Right? Always pay attention to what is the noun in the question. If the noun is a person, then you have to put hito. Hito. If the noun is a place, then you have to put Tokoro. Alright? Or the name of the place, which is hoteru. Okay, this is how you can use modified noun in a question. Right, over here we're gonna combine the modified noun with other grammar structures that we learned from other lessons. For example, please show me the picture taken at Nara. Nara de totta shashin o mite kudasai. Over here, the noun is shashin, and the modified noun is totta shashin. Alright, Nara de totta shashin. This is a modified noun, and then we use o misete kudasai. This is what we learned from other chapters for other grammar that we learned. So we are combining this grammar structure with modified noun. I'm buying the present I'm giving to him. Alright? 彼にあげるお土産を買います。Notice here the noun is omiyage. The omiyage has been modified to include ageru. So 彼にあげるお土産. So this present is a present that I want to give to him. So 彼にあげるお土産. So this is a modified noun. And then I'm the one who is buying. I'm going to buy this. So を買います. Okay. I throw away unnecessary things. いらないものを捨てます. Mono is the noun here. It's been modified to become いらないもの. Right? I'm throwing it away, so を捨てます. Right? I must drink the medicine received from hospital. 病院でもらった薬を飲まなければなりません. Over here, the noun is kusuri. Kusuri has been modified to become 病院でもらった薬. This is a medicine that I received from hospital, right? And then I must drink this. So, を飲まなければなりません. Right? Do you know the person sitting next to Miss E? E さんの隣に座っている人を知っていますか? Alright, over here the person is hito. This is the noun and it has been modified to become イさんの隣に座っている. So the person sitting next to イさんの隣に座っている. Right? And then we add a を知っています. This is what we learned from other lessons. Right? So this is a more advanced level of modified nouns where we combine it with other grammar structures we learned from other lessons. This question can be found on page 184, question number 5. In this slide, we're going to remind you that the particle ga is the particle that will help to emphasize who is the initiator of this activity. Right? For example, look at first sentence. Examples 1. This cake was baked by Michael. Right? In this sentence, this cake was baked by Michael. We want to let people know that Michael is the initiator here. Right? So, Michael is the one who baked this cake. Right? And in this cake is a noun here. And we have to modify this noun to include a verb, bake. So that's why the sentence become これはマイクが作ったケーキです. Okay? Notice the noun here is cake, ケーキ. We modify it into 作ったケーキ. Right? After that, we want to let people know that Michael is the one who initiated this activity. So, Maiku is the subject, and then we put a ga after the subject. Right? This is the way that particle ga can actually inform us who is the initiator. Right? So, これはマイクが作ったケーキです. Right? Let's look at the example number 2. I like the picture that Karina painted. The sentence here, the picture is the noun. We first will modify the noun, picture. To draw is kakimasu, right? Kakimasu, we have to convert it into a futsuke form. So it become kaita because it's been drawn, so it's a past tense. So kaita e. Kaita e is the modified noun. Alright? After that, we want to let people know that Karina is the one who drew this picture. So Karina ga kaita e. Okay? Karina ga kaita e. And then after that, I want to let people know that I like this picture that is painted by Karina. So I add a watashi wa and I add a ga suki desu at the end. Okay? So if you want to create a sentence, I like the picture that Karina painted. First thing you need to know, what is the noun here? What is the modified noun here? The modified noun is the picture drawn by Karina, right? So you start from there. So kaita e, and then you find the subject. The subject is Karina, so Karina ga kaita e, and then watashi wa Karina ga kaita e ga suki desu. Example number 3. Do you know the place where he was born? Alright. Over here we are asking for the place. The place should be Tokoro, right? Where is doko? Tokoro, Tokoro and doko. Okay. So now we want to make this Tokoro into a modified noun. Okay. Where he was born. So this place was where he was born. So he is Kare. Kare is the subject here. He's the one who lives there. So Kare ga umareta Tokoro. Umareta Tokoro is the modified noun. And then there's a particle ga here to emphasize that Kare is the one who was born there. And then the question is, do you know the place? O shite imasu ka? So we simply add a o shite imasu ka? Anata wa, sometimes you don't have to put in anata wa. It's well understood already that you're asking another person about it. But you can also put in, it's not a problem. You can also put in anata wa. Do you know? You, do you know? Okay, anata wa kare ga umareta tokoro o shite imasu ka? There's this very good example that can be found on page 183, question number 1, where we combine the modified noun with grammar structure relating to moraimasu, receiving and borrowing. You know, sometimes it can be confusing. What is the particle used for receiving and what's the particle used for borrowing and giving and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna combine it in this example. Let's look at first example. This is a quote I received from my mom. Okay. Normally the word receive is moraimasu, right? So it's haha ni moraimasu, right? Now over here we're going to combine this haha ni moraimasu with the modified noun. So this quote is koto will be modified to include this verb here, morata, right? Haha ni morata koto desu. Next, this is a magazine I borrowed from Mr. Tawapon. Magazine is the noun, jashi, and then borrowed is karita. So karita jashi, a borrowed magazine. Okay, who did I borrow this from? I borrowed from Tawapon. So Tawapon san ni karita jashi. これは Tawapon san ni karita jashi desu. Right? Okay, next, this is a photograph taken at Kyoto. Photograph is shashin. We want to modify the noun become totta shashin. Okay, picture taken. Totta shashin. Where did I take this picture? Kyoto de totta shashin. Right? I'm describing this picture, so これは Kyoto de totta shashin desu. Next, this is the cake I made. Cake is the noun here. I want to modify the noun cake. So made is tsukurimasu. So tsukutta keki. A cake made. Alright. Who made this cake? I made this cake. So watashi ga. Right? Watashi ga tsukutta keki. This is the cake I made. So これは私が作ったケーキです。Right? Next, this is a picture drawn by Karina. Picture is A. The noun here is A. We want to modify this noun. It's drawn by, so kakimasu become karita, kaita e. Kaita e. Who drew this picture? Karina. So Karina san ga kaita e. Then これは Karina san ga kaita e desu. I hope by now that you are very comfortable in creating sentence using modified noun. Okay, in this second example, we're going to see some more example of combination of ga with modified noun. The first example, sports. I like sports done outside. This is just not just any kind of sports. It has to be a sports done outside. So soto de suru. Okay, soto de suru sportsu. So the noun is sports and it's modified to become soto de suru sportsu. Nen ga suki desu. I like people who understand humor. Humor is the subject here. People is the noun here. We have to modify these people into somebody who understand humor. So humoru ga yumoa ga wakaru hito ga suki desu. So hito has been modified to be yumoa ga wakaru hito ga suki desu. I like the laptop placed on the table. Pasoko no oku tsukue ga hoshii desu. Right? Tsukue is the noun. It's been modified to become oku tsukue. Pasokon. Why this is not a ga? Because the subject here is a object. So pasokon no oku tsukue ga hoshii desu. I don't understand the Japanese language used by the company's people. Okay, company's people is the one who is doing the activity here. So kaisha no hito ga. Okay, and then the noun here is Nihongo. Nihongo has been modified to become tsukau Nihongo. And then ga wakarimasen. I want to eat dishes made by my mom. Dishes is the noun. Is made by my mom. So tsukutta ryori. Haha ni tsukutta ryori. I want to eat. So tabetai. So haha ga tsukutta ryori ga tabetai desu. All these examples can be found on page 184, question number 6. Try to do as many examples as you can by first writing out an English word and then writing out the Japanese. As you practice more, you'll be very comfortable with using modified noun. Okay, next grammar that we're gonna learn here is when we are explaining about time, jikan, yakusoku, appointment, yoji, a task, we have to convert the verb into a dictionary form. Okay, for example, I don't have time to eat breakfast. Watashi wa asa gohan o taberu jikan ga arimasen. Notice here jikan, the verb before jikan is a dictionary form verb, taberu. Okay, asa gohan o taberu jikan ga arimasen. Second example, I've arranged to see a film with some friends. Watashi wa tomodachi to eiga o miru yakusoku ga arimasu. Okay, yakusoku is combined with dictionary form of the verb. So this actually becomes a modified noun. So miru yakusoku, right? And then what do we want to see? We want to see a movie. So eiga o miru yakusoku with friends, tomodachi to. The next example is I have to do something at City Hall today. 今日は市役所へ行く用事があります。Once again, 用事 has been modified to include a verb at the front, so 行く用事。Okay. 市役所へ行く用事があります。Some more examples that we can take from the book on page 184, question number 7. Sunday I have appointment playing with children. 日曜日は子供と遊ぶ約束があります。 Tonight I have appointment dining with friends. こんばんは、友達と食事をする約束があります。I don't have time to read morning newspaper. 朝新聞を読む時間がありません。I did not have time to make a phone call. 電話をかける時間がありませんでした。Right? So try to practice as many sentences as possible so you can be comfortable with modifying nouns and adding other particles and other grammar structures together. Well, in this slide, we're going to learn once again about mashoka. Mashoka can be used in two different situations. The first situation is what we learned in lesson 14, where it is used when the speaker is offering to do something for the listener. For example, shall I carry your bag? 荷物を持ちましょうか? Shall I come tomorrow? 明日も来ましょうか? Right? Over here, notice that the speaker is offering to do something for the listener. For this lesson 22, mashoka is used when the speaker is suggesting to the listener that they do something together. So it's not shall I but shall we. Shall we go now? 今から行きましょうか? Right? So you will come across this mashoka is very often in sentences, and you do not have to particularly tell whether this is shall I or shall we. Whenever you're just offering help to somebody or suggesting something, you can always use mashoka. Okay, right now we're going to do an English translation for the bunke and reibun in page 180. The first sentence, これはミラさんが作ったケーキです。This is a cake made by Miller. あそこにいる人はミラさんです。The person over there is Mr. Miller. 昨日習った言葉を忘れました。I forgot the words I learned yesterday. 買い物に行く時間がありません。I don't have time to go shopping. Okay. For the reibun, we're going to look at the first sentence here. これは万里の長女で撮った写真です。Right? Over here is obvious the noun is 写真. It's been modified to become 撮った写真. It's taken in Great Wall of China. So 万里の長女で Right? So this is a picture taken at Great Wall of China. そうですか。すごいですね。Is that so? It's amazing. カリナさんが描いた絵はどれですか? Which picture did Karina draw? あれです。あの海の絵です。That's it. It's a picture of the sea. あの着物を着ている人は誰ですか? Who is that person wearing kimono? 木村さんです。That's 木村。山田さん、奥さんに初めて会ったところはどこですか? Mr. Yamada, where did you first meet your wife? Notice here, the noun is Tokoro and the modified noun is 会ったところ。大阪城です。At Osaka Castle. 木村さんと行ったコンサートはどうでしたか? How was the concert you went with Kimura? とても良かったです。It was very good. どうしましょうか? どうしましたか? What's the matter? 昨日 買った傘をなくしました。I've lost the umbrella I bought yesterday. どの家が欲しいですか？ What kind of house do you want? 広い庭がある家が欲しいです。I want a house with a big garden. 今晩飲みに行きませんか？ Shall we go for a drink tonight? すみません。今晩はちょっと友達に会う約束があります。Sorry, I promised to meet a friend tonight. Please turn to page 181. We'll look at a Kaiwa here. We'll do an English translation for the Kaiwa. The title of the Kaiwa is Donna apato ga ii desu ka? What kind of apartment is good? Here, there's a conversation between the realtor and one son. Right? The realtor is Fudosan ya. Fudosan is actually property. Ya is the shop, so Fudosan ya. Okay, Fudosan ya. The realtor said, こちらはいかがですか？家賃は8万円です。How about this one? The rent is 80,000 yen. And one replied, ちょっと駅から遠いですね。Quite far from the station. じゃあこちらは便利ですよ。駅から歩いて3分ですから。Then this one, it's convenient because 3 minutes walk from the station. そうですね。ダイニング、キッチンと和室が一つと。すみません、ここは何ですか？ Well, it's got an eat-in kitchen and one Japanese-style room, right? Excuse me, what's this? 押し入れです。布団を入れるところですよ。That's an 押し入れ. It's a place to put a futon in. そうですか。このアパートを今日見ることができますか？ I see. Can I see this apartment today? 今から行きましょうか？ Yes, shall we go now? お願いします。Yes, please. Well, we'll be learning new vocabulary for this lesson. The first vocabulary is kakemasu. This is to put on glasses. We can use kakemasu. So, megane o kakemasu. Shimasu. This is to put on a tie. To put on a tie is necktie o shimasu. Kimasu, to put on a shirt. Hakimasu is to put on a shoes. Kaburimasu is to put on a hat. Umaremasu is be born. Watashi tachi, we. Koto, coat. Seta, sweater. Sutsu, suit. Boshi, hat or cap. Megane, glasses. Obento, lunchbox. Tsugo, convenience. Keiki, cake. Roboto, robot. Yumoa, humor. Yoku, often. Well, let me see. Omedetou gozaimasu, congratulations. Dewa, well then. Osagashi desu ka? Are you looking for? Yachin, rent. Washitsu, Japanese style room. Oshiire, Japanese style closet. Futon, Bandi no Chojo, the Great Wall of China. Kochira, this is a polite equivalent of kore. Dining kitchen, dine-in kitchen. Paris, Minna No Anketo. Title of a fictitious questionnaire. Alright, we've arrived at the reference word for clothes. Over here we'll be introducing you to some words you can use for describing the different kind of clothes that we have. For example, the first one is suit. Suit is sutsu. One piece dress is one piece suit. Jacket is wagi. Something that is outerwear is always wagi. Trousers, pants is jubon or pantsu. Jeans is jinitsu. Jiniju. Sukato is skirt. Blouse is burausu. White shirt is waisatsu. Sweater is seta. Scarf or muffler is mafura. Gloves is tebukuro. Underwear is shitagi, or lingeries is also shitagi. Kutsushita is socks. Okay, remember shoes is kutsu and then kutsushita is the below the shoes. So kutsushita, socks. Ties or pantyhose is sutoki-gu. Sutokin-gu. Overcoat is obakoto. Obakoto. Overcoat. Raincoat is rainkoto. Rainkoto. Tie, necktie is nekutai. Belt is beruto. High heels is haihiru. Haihiru. Boots is butsu. Trainers or sneakers is undo gutsu. Kimono is simply kimono. The bow behind the kimono is obi. The belt for kimono is obi. Jori is a sandal used by kimono. Jori. Tabi is the socks worn when you're wearing a kimono. Tabi. Well, we have come to the end of lesson 22. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel Whiz-Million Academy for more videos. See you again.